Shalom, family, and welcome back to returning to our true identity, from scripture to soil. The scripture for today's episode is Psalm 119, verse 59. I thought on my ways, and turned my feet unto thy testimonies. Family, this verse fits this episode perfectly because this journey is not about pretending that we already know everything. It is about learning, examining what we are doing, and being willing to make corrections when we gain understanding. As I continue learning how to work the land and grow our own food, I am also learning to pay closer attention to things I once overlooked. And in this episode, that meant taking a closer look at some of the plants already growing in my garden. I found out that some of the plants I purchased were hybrids. At the time I bought and planted them, I did not fully understand what that meant. But once I learned, I had to stop, think on my ways, go back to the scriptures, and decide what I was going to do with the understanding I now had. And family, I made the decision to remove those plants from my garden. Not because I can trace the history of every seed ever planted. Not because I believe I know everything about gardening. But because when I learn something and believe scripture is showing me that I need to make a correction, I want to do the best I can with the knowledge I have today. That is what this journey is about. We learn, we examine, we correct, and we keep turning our feet back unto Yah's testimonies. So come on, family. Let's get back into the garden, continue learning together, and as always, let's grow in the Word together.
Shalom, family. We're back out here in the garden, and you see here my squashes. I was getting a little excited because I hadn't seen any squash bug, but as you see the little leaves there that I clipped off, I found one squash bug, and I found some leaves with some seeds on it. We're going to pick that off, but it's causing the fruit to produce that way, but we don't see any now, and I've only seen two since we ridded the majority of them. But this is the daily life of having stuff outside. So we'll see. Nope, not seeing any. We just have to keep checking. Me and my husband walked through here earlier and looked at the leaves, and that's when we found them. You just have to look every day. So the cucumbers are doing fairly well. As we see, our cucumbers are starting to look better. Let me see if I can find one of the weird shaped ones. No, that one's started off a little weird, but looks like it's evening out. And there's a funny shaped one. And it's from a multitude of things. One could be inconsistent watering. I'm not going to say pest. I haven't seen any pest on this one. But it could be a multitude of different things. But if they come in, just as long as they taste good. So we're seeing some progress with the airflow in here. And we'll look over at our little baby watermelon that's getting big. And then there's another one. Our watermelon plants aren't doing too well, so we're going to See if we can do some better fertilizing to get them up. Our tomatoes getting big there. And I'm not seeing any more on this one. I seen another one somewhere, but I can't remember. Oh, there it is. There's the other one. Our garlic is growing, still steadily growing. Took a hit for a minute, but it's doing good. This tomato plant is looking better since we trimmed it back. And this one as well. Our green beans are blooming. Haven't seen any green beans yet, but we better start looking because they're probably coming. And you want to catch them before the seeds start. I forgot what the word is. But before the seeds start getting real big. And that not only ruins the green bean, but it makes the plant stop growing because it's thinking that it's about to die. So it's trying to produce seed to keep it going, keep its line going. Our radishes are coming in. Seeing a lot of green leaves on our jalapenos here since fertilizing with the fish fertilizer. We got a pepper there. And we got a pepper there. And I'm not seeing any on those two. Those are our beets. And they're doing pretty good. And let me come over here so we can look at the strawberries. Our strawberries are starting to turn red. And this is the real size of real strawberries that don't have the poisonous, I'm going to say, the poisonous fertilizer that makes them get really big like you see in the store. And that's it for up here. Now we're going to go down to the closer to the house. And while I'm down here, I'll show you guys a little something. I made this hair oil for my mom and my cousin, and I just made this little label. I'm not really selling these, but it's hair growth oil, and it actually really works. And I just had some stickers and I printed them on there, and that's what I got, so that's what I put on there. And this is one of the places that I found a squash bug, but I haven't really seen them down here. But we got a butternut squash there, and I haven't seen anything on the back of the leaves here. Me and my husband checked earlier. And inside there, I planted some cucumber seeds that haven't sprouted. I just planted those yesterday. We got one there. And of course, we got the Black Prince tomatoes. And they're coming in. We've already harvested a couple of bigger green ones and eaten them. This peppermint is growing wild. I've had to take some from there and plant it here. And as you see, it's already coming back. It's running wild. And it's all the way over there. Look, in the oregano. And we need to pick these off. Look, it's flowering. So we're going to pick these off so it doesn't flower and it keeps growing. We don't want it to seed. You don't want your plant to go to seed until you're ready for it to die back. There's our thyme. It's doing good. And I planted some parsley there. And you see they're coming in. And we have coriander here. There's the coriander. Cherry tomatoes are getting pretty big. But that's the biggest they're going to get. When they start turning red, that's how you know they're not going to get any bigger. They're just going to start ripening. And I got these pots from a coworker. And she gave me an amaryllis. And it's growing. And it's a little bulb that you buy during like Christmas time. I put some cucumber seeds in there too. There should be, I'm only going to let 2 grow there. Well, 4. 1 on each side of this cage and 1 on the other side. And the same in the other cage. And everything over here is doing good. We're going to have to give this one a haircut. Our lemongrass is doing exceptionally good. It really likes where it is at. My husband always comes out here and takes a piece and chews on it. I'm gonna pull him a piece and take it to him. This rose bush is struggling to bush, but I'm just gonna let it do what it's gonna do. And this one definitely needs a haircut. Honey. Lemongrass. And this tomato plant has yet to put off any actual fruit. It's blooming, but it's not putting anything off. It's gotten pretty tall. So we got a fertilizing system going for it. And this bell pepper plant was right there, in between those 2 right there. And it's like 20 minutes after I set it right here because it was linked over. It set straight up, so it likes this space better. And it has a green pepper on it. Look, honey. It has a green pepper on it. You see it there? You see that green pepper, honey? And here's our grape tomatoes. They're not ripe yet, but these back here are getting pretty big. Our zinnias are getting taller. And let's go over to this side to check out our moonflower. And they're still doing exactly what I wanted them to do. Is to go up here, and I wanted them to cover this whole thing here. I should have moved this one back there and let it start from there. But this is where it is, and this is, just keep on going with it. We just keep on rolling with it. And I pulled up the gladiolas that were right here because they were blocking these. These are canna lilies, and I got something in my pocket. My coworker, she gave me these canna lily seeds, and I want to plant them. It takes 2 to 3 years for them to bloom, but as you see, the foliage itself is pretty. And she gave me this seed right here. Is called a pawpaw tree, and it's the only native Kentucky tree that actually produces a fruit. And so I'm going to try to grow this one. See if we can get us a pawpaw tree. So there's our little hens and chicken pot. It's still slow motion out here, but we're still working on it. We're out here at my big rose bush, and we're about to give it, as in biblical terms, we're dressing and keeping our little rose bush here. We're going to give it a trim. I just got some regular scissors. You don't have to go out if you're just starting gardening and buy all the big box brands of gardening stuff. You use what you have at home, but I suggest, you see this is rubber. It's going to be less likely, and I say that strongly, for these stickers to stick me, but it still can happen. But I just got some regular scissors, and we're going to shape this up however we see fit. And I'll show you these stickers on here to show you how big these are. Pretty big. And we just want to go through, we just want to give it a trim. I suggest, if you have pets that walk around in your garden like me, that you don't leave these on the ground, because if they step on these, it's going to be pretty ugly. I was going to go get the little electric cutter, but I changed my mind. I didn't feel like, there's a bird laid some eggs in my husband's tool bag in the shed on the side where all the electric tools are, and I don't want to go in there and mess with that bird. So even though it only just flies out, as long as you're not messing with the nest, it probably will just fly away. So I just want to cut it back some. I don't know. With scissors, you can shape it, but it's going to be hard with scissors versus the little electric bush trimmer thingy, whatever it's called, I forgot. But I want it, it's supposed to be raining all weekend. So before it gets all rainy, I wanted to get this done. And of course, I won't be doing this tomorrow on the Sabbath. But it's supposed to be raining on Sunday as well. So, and I got my little bucket here to pick these up and put these in. And we usually have all of our little garden beds mulched by now. We've been running super late. I've been focusing on a lot of other stuff, and that's why I haven't really been worried about it. It's just really aesthetics, really, this mulch. It does help with moisture, but as we see, our plants are doing pretty good that's in this bed. So I'm not really, I'll get to it when I get to it. So I haven't gotten stuck yet. So that's a good thing. And when you cut off these flowers, you can take these petals and make you rose water. Bella? Oh, just got stuck. Spoke too soon. And I'm just really worried about the sides. I'm not really going to cut much from the top because I don't care about it getting taller. I just don't want it growing out here in the driveway. I'm just going to shape it up, and don't be scared to cut these blooms off, because I'm telling you, in the nick of time, not in the nick of time, in no time, these will be blooming again. it will be grown. This bush here loves where it's at and it thrives. So don't be scared to cut your blooms off. The more you cut, the more it grows. It's kind of just like hair. The more you cut healthy hair, the more it grows. So I'm going to step back, take a look at what I'm doing. There's a couple little more snippets I need to get off here. And some branches back here. We're doing pretty good. And for this one right here, you see how leggy it is? It's just long and leggy. I'm going to just snip this all the way back to the ground because it's not getting bushy. It's really not doing anything. So we're going to see what it does now that I've cut it all the way back like this. And you see these stickers? Yeah, they're dangerous. They really are dangerous. Ouch. Those are the tough ones right there. Those are the ones you have to watch out for. So, I'm going to show you my bush. Turn the camera around. And we're going to see what we got going here. We just gave it a little trim. And when I come back, I'm gonna go throw those away. And we're gonna move to another different kind of bush in my yard that my husband wants to pull up, but we're gonna do something. We're gonna prove his theory of it being dead wrong. All right, family, we're back out here at the bushes in the front yard. And these are evergreen bushes. And as you see this one here, even though the light green color is all new growth. But all three of these, that one's looking pretty good. But all three of these were looking like this until I trimmed them back. But I'm going to have to trim them back some more. Hopefully, I can do it with the scissors that I have, and I don't have to go in the shed. Now, I trimmed that one back, and you see all the green, the light green, is the new growth. So, we're going to try and see if our scissors is going to work with these. If not, I'll have to get something different. And what you want to do is, you just want to come in and snip it down. Oh, the scissors. The scissors are being a little finicky. So you just want to trim all these ones that don't have anything green on them. You just want to trim them back. I'm not going to do all of these. I'm just going to do some of them. And as you see, because I'll have to get the big handy dandy to get the big ones. But wherever there isn't any green at, you just want to trim it back so that it encourages growth. All of these, all the way down to the bottom, are dead. I can get this one here. And I got to be careful in this one because I'm allergic to this plant. But once you trim it back, if you have a plant and you see green on it, you know that it's not dead. Because if it was dead, nothing would be growing. It just needs a trim. And so because these scissors don't want to work, I'm not going to be able to, I don't know why I thought doing this with the scissors was going to work. But all three of these bushes look like this one. Maybe 2 years ago. I think the year before last, or maybe last year, I trimmed them back. But it just needs a haircut. And it's kind of like when you got split ends. When you have split ends on your hair, the split just grows up. And until you cut it at the split end, it won't grow. It won't retain any growth because your hair does grow. It just isn't, you're not seeing it because your hair's just splitting up. And this is essentially the same. Bella! So now we'll go and look at some of our plants over here. This plant here I got from my boss at work. She has this plant in the office, and I took a little piece, and you see I planted them here, which I'm going to take them inside. I forgot what they're called, but I'll take them inside. I'll dig them up and take them inside because they'll die in the wintertime. There's another one of my lilies that I'm going to dig up once the green dies back and plant over in the full sun so that it'll thrive. This one is my monstera. The biggest leaves, my neighbor gave me that one, and then that little baby one I bought from Etsy. Then we have my baby birds of paradise, and she's doing good. She got some burn spots on her. Even though this is a plant that takes full sun, you can't just put it out in the sun or it'll get burnt like that. You have to slowly acclimate it. And I'm still working on that. This is my spider plant. A coworker gave me that one also. And it was really little. It's really loving it out here. It was probably as small as this, smaller than this leaf here. These are my little baby Pelea plants. And my neighbor, she gave me those. Here is my orchid. And she's doing good. You see she got the new leaf coming in. And I had to snip some of the burnt leaves off because the sun burnt it up. But it's getting acclimated to the sun here. But she's doing good. This plant here is called a wandering Jew. And my neighbor, she gave me these pieces off of her plant. And it's doing okay. I rooted it in water before I put it in potting soil, and it's doing good. Here's my pothos. She's thriving. And I can't remember if this is the Marble Queen or I can't remember what the name of this one is. But this is also a pothos. And this is the silver pothos. And here, you see all those weeds, is where I had the bird feeder up there on the tree. And the squirrel, I'm going to blame it on the squirrel, knocked all those seeds down. And you see right there, knocked all those seeds down in there, and they sprouted. So this is what we got going on right now. And just stay tuned in for more.
We went out to the garden today, and look what we were able to bring in. All praises to the Most High.
All right, family. What I would do with the harvest this small, because those cucumbers were turning yellow, is just slice them up, put them in something glass. And then my husband likes to eat these. I like to juice them or put them in salad or something like that, and you can just grab out of this bowl. Give me 1 second. Let me grab this. I have this little basket here. And these zucchinis, I'll just leave them out in this basket. I don't wash them until I'm ready to use them. And the same thing for these tomatoes. Just put them here in the basket. If you see them start rotting, take them out of the basket, because whatever other fruit that it touches as it's rotting, it's going to rot that fruit. Now these strawberries, we're going to see. I didn't want there's only 2 that was about ready to go. I wanted to cut these up. There's only 2 out there, but we're going to do it. And I want to show you how red they are inside. Now these weren't ready. These are like your regular grocery store, but usually you can't see it in this one. They'll be really, really red. But we got to those before the bugs got them. And the same with those. But they'll be, when they're good and ripe, they'll be really red, and you can't see the juice that I'm squeezing out, but the juice will be real red, and they'll be real sweet. So this is what we got, and we're going to put these up, and that's going to be it for this. All right, family. I'm sitting here going through my seeds, and I wanted to show you something. My aunt and my friend gave me a lot of these seeds, but when you're buying seed packages, you want to look at them, and you want to look for this word here, hybrid. Those is the seeds that you don't want to plant, because they're a mixture of different kinds of, this is spinach, and it's a mixture of different kind of spinaches. That's what it's talking about in the scriptures when it's talking about mixing. This here has mixed with another kind of spinach, whether it be this is let's see, it's not going to tell us on here, but this is what you get, and you don't want to buy the hybrids. And also these two. This one isn't doesn't say that it's a hybrid, but because it has, you see these seeds have this red coating on it, and it'll, when you read the back of it, it'll tell you what it is. You don't want to buy those kind either. And let's see, here's a sweet pepper, that's a hybrid. Cucumber hybrid. Tomato hybrid. And these are the Burpees, which is a very popular brand, Burpee. And these are multitudes of them, and they're all hybrids. And you see here is another spinach. This is a spinach with the, and you see the seeds look different, but they're the same color because they're putting this coating on it. You don't want to get those. And this is that jelly bean seed that I planted out there. Didn't pay no attention, but it's a hybrid. The jelly bean hybrid. You don't want to plant these. This is going to be summer squash, which is probably the zucchini hybrid. And here's the lettuce and the broccoli seeds that have the coating on them. I'm tossing these, but I wanted to show you. They have this coating on it, and I wouldn't purchase these. Some things that are for our convenience aren't good for us. And it says, this safe and all-natural coating is made from a high-quality blend of all-natural materials consisting of clay, lime, and pertile. That's all they're telling me. The colors applied to the seed coating are done with the use of FDA-approved food coloring. And as we know, the FDA here in America approves a lot of stuff that's not good for us. So, unless you can verify exactly what this coating is, and it is lawful, because it could have carmine in it, which is a caterpillar, I think. I forgot what it was, what carmine's made, what insect carmine's made from. But anyways, you don't want to get these. And as you see, they cost more than most of the regular seed packages. So I just wanted to show you guys that.
I want to slow down and explain some gardening terms that many of us, including myself, may have seen without truly understanding what they mean. When we go to the store and buy seeds or seedlings, we see words like heirloom, hybrid, open-pollinated, determinate, indeterminate, and cross-pollinated. But if we are trying to return to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yah, we should at least understand what we are choosing to put into the ground. Leviticus 19 verse 19 says, "Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee." Now, we have to be honest. We are living thousands of years removed from the time this commandment was given. We cannot trace the complete history of every seed available today. We cannot look at an heirloom seed and prove that somewhere in its entire history it was never crossed. We simply do not have that information. But not knowing everything does not mean we ignore what we can know. This is where understanding these gardening terms becomes important. Heirloom varieties are older, established varieties that have been preserved and passed down through generations. They are generally open-pollinated and maintained to grow true to type. This means that, when properly pollinated and preserved, the seed can be saved and planted again with the expectation of producing the same variety. However, I want to be clear. The word heirloom does not prove that the seed's entire ancestral history has never involved crossing. We cannot make that claim if we cannot prove it. Open-pollinated means the plant is pollinated naturally and the variety has been maintained so that it can reproduce true to type, provided it is not crossed with another compatible variety. This is why seed saving and understanding cross-pollination matter. Then we have hybrids, often labeled F1 hybrid. These are intentionally produced by crossing selected parent varieties to combine particular traits. They may be bred for disease resistance, size, production, uniformity, or other characteristics. When I see a plant or seed openly labeled as a hybrid or an intentional cross, I now have information that I did not have before. And this is where personal responsibility and obedience come in. I cannot go backward and undo what man has already done to seeds. I cannot trace every seed through hundreds or thousands of years, but I can be responsible for what I knowingly choose today. If I am trying to obey Yah's command concerning mingled seed to the best of my understanding and ability, then the best choice available to me is to seek out heirloom and open-pollinated varieties and refrain from knowingly purchasing seeds or plants advertised as hybrids or intentional crosses. Does that mean I can prove an heirloom seed has never been crossed in its entire history? No. It means I am making the best decision I can based on the knowledge and information available to me today. There is a difference between not knowing and knowing something and choosing to ignore it. We also need to understand cross-pollination. Cross-pollination can happen when pollen moves between compatible varieties. This is why, especially if we plan to save seeds, we need to learn which plants can cross and use distance, timing, or other isolation methods when necessary. Then there are the terms determinate and indeterminate. These words have nothing to do with whether plant is heirloom or hybrid. They simply describe how a plant grows and produces. Determinate plants grow to a more limited size and tend to produce most of their crop within a shorter period. Indeterminate plants continue growing, flowering, and producing throughout the season until frost or conditions stop the plant. This journey is about learning. I did not always know what these words meant. I have purchased hybrid plants. I have planted things without understanding cross-pollination. But once we learn, we adjust. We cannot use the excuse that we do not know everything to avoid doing what we can with the knowledge Yah has allowed us to gain. The best we can do today is read our seed packets, read our plant tags, ask questions, learn the terminology, seek heirloom and open-pollinated varieties, avoid knowingly purchasing intentional hybrids and crosses, and learn how to protect the seed we save from unwanted cross-pollination. We may not be able to prove the history of every seed, but we can be mindful of the seed we knowingly put into the ground today. And that is what returning to our true identity is about: learning Yah's ways, examining what we have been taught, and doing the best we can to walk in obedience with the understanding we have. We learn, we correct, we grow, and we keep returning to what was written.
All right, family. So now we know this jelly bean tomato plant that was here is a hybrid. What we're going to have to do is, out of obedience, because it tells us in the scriptures, I pulled it up and I'm going to toss it. Yes, it's a plant. Yes, it has food. But we're going to be obedient to the Most High. And we're going to toss this. And me being a gardener, I'm not an expert gardener, but I've done it for the last 8 years. We all are still learning. Not necessarily just learning about gardening. We're learning about how to walk in this walk with the Most High. So that plant is out of here. And I don't feel bad at all. I feel great about learning something about the Most High. So, plant's gone. I'm going to walk it back here, take this trash bag out of this trash can, and put it in the dump.
Family, I'm not going to lie. This garden has been a journey, and there have definitely been moments of frustration. Between plants not growing the way I expected, battling squash bugs, removing damaged leaves, trying to figure out what each plant needs, and now learning that some of the plants I purchased were hybrids and making the decision to pull them up, it can feel like every time I figure one thing out, something else comes along. But I have to remind myself that I am learning. This is my first time truly trying to understand the land beyond simply putting a plant in the ground and waiting for food to grow. I'm learning to observe. I'm learning to identify problems. I'm learning to read labels and seed packets. And most importantly, I'm learning how to take what I discover and examine it against the word of Yah. Sometimes growth comes with correction. Sometimes learning means admitting, I didn't know that. And sometimes obedience, as I understand it, means being willing to change what I'm doing once I do know. Yes, family, I have been frustrated. Faced with tears of joy, I have stood in this garden and looked around like, Yah, what is going on? But at the end of the day, I know everything is going to be fine. Yah has already allowed me to learn so much through this little garden. Every mistake has taught me something. Every pest has caused me to pay closer attention. Every struggling plant has made me research and learn. And every correction has reminded me that this journey was never about being perfect. It was about being willing to grow. So, I'm going to keep working the land. I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep correcting what needs to be corrected. And I'm going to continue trusting Yah through the entire process. Because in the end, family, all will be well through Yah. With this family, I'm going to say Shalom.